There are dogs that all have different maturation rates and things like that. And so there are some puppies that look like they don't want to do anything when they're little, and they hit a certain age and they really start to come on. Other puppies are on fire early, but you find that they don't hold up to the rigors of training. There's a difference between energy and motivation, right? There are dogs that are really busy. They want to run all over the place, and they're super energetic, but they don't focus and concentrate well. Like if you ask them to work for a reward, they try a little bit. If they don't get it right away, they give up and go do something else. But they're bouncing off the walls, zooming around. So you need to make a distinction between what we would call drive or motivation and just energy levels. They're really spastic, energetic dogs that don't persist in trying to get a reward. And they're puppies that show you nothing, that turn out to be maniacs later, and you see other puppies that look really hot and they sort of peter out. So my experience is you can't place too much stock in it. As your puppy gets older, if you know certain things about the breed or the bloodline, then it becomes increasingly good information. So if I have a Malinois puppy from a certain bloodline and it's not doing certain things by a certain age, then I'm relatively certain it's not going to. But that's only because I'm very familiar with that gene pool. And if you start taking different breeds and different dogs and all that kind of stuff, and different bloodlines within a breed, then no. Like there are super slow maturing dogs and really fast maturing dogs. They may wind up at the same place, but they won't look at all alike as puppies. Like German Shepherd puppies, a lot of them are slower maturing. Like one of the best German Shepherds that I ever had years ago, I brought in from Germany as a puppy, and he wouldn't do anything until he was 6 months old. He was boring as all get out. I mean, he'd take a piece of food from you, but he wasn't interested in training or any of that kind of stuff. He was confident, but didn't care. He's lazy, slept all the time, didn't want to do anything. And then when he was like 6 months old, it's like suddenly somebody flipped a switch and he went bonkers. Like it wasn't even like a gradual buildup. He went overnight, just lost his mind. Like I waved a rag around and he went, bah! And before that, he would he'd watch it like I walk away from you. And after that, he was nuts. So there are weird things that happen developmentally. So I don't place too much stock in it at this age. You just get the puppy and you train what's in front of you, and you do what you think they need, and then cross your fingers and wait and see, right?
When you have brothers and sisters in the
Mm-hmm.
and you choose one, is there like always like a leader?
Is there always
Like a brother or sister that has more power?
I mean, they'll wind up there, but again, it's the same thing. You can't tell when they're little. Yeah. Some of the best dogs that I know were really rotten puppies. They were terrible. They were no good. I got dogs back that people are like, I don't want this thing. It's no good. A dog named Jackson, who we are all very familiar with, I got him back when he was 3 months old because the trainer that had him thought he was going to be no good. He turned out to be awesome. Yeah, very good. His brother too. I gave his brother to a girl, a friend of ours, Brittany, who she was hanging around us forever and wanted a Malinois puppy really badly. And so I had that litter, and at 8 weeks old, he was big, lazy, and afraid of everything. So he wouldn't play. He was afraid of everything. He was big and low energy. And I'm like, here you go, Brittany, socialize him. Take him around with you. She carted him all over the place and took him everywhere. And when he was about 6 or 7 months old, he started to come on, and then he was 3 times national IPO champion, finished 5th at the World Championships. The dog turned into be a monster when he grew up, but if you saw him as a puppy, nobody would have taken that puppy at 8 weeks old. Any trainer would have been like, I don't want that thing. Yeah, you have to, in a litter, my personal experience is most of the time, the best puppy doesn't stand out at 8 weeks. You have really good looking ones, which may turn out to be good dogs, and you have some that look really bad, which also may turn out to be good dogs or bad dogs. But the one that turns out to be the best usually is the one that you don't notice very much. They're just kind of there. They do everything on the average. My personal experience with my own dogs, but I've been doing it a long time, and I would not purport to be able to pick and tell you whether a puppy was going to be a good working dog at 8 weeks old or not. You're banking on mom and dad and time before you see. I have a really good friend that runs the behavior and training program for the U.S. military at Lackland. His name's Stuart Hilliard, Dr. Hilliard. He's a good dog trainer and very fluent in the science of dog behavior. And when the U.S. military started their puppy program, they started breeding puppies for the military. he was performing an experiment where he had temperament tests for the puppies, environmental play temperament tests, or a whole series of these very elaborate temperament tests. And he performed the same test at 7 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, and 16 weeks, and he filmed them all. And what he was trying to find is, are any of these tests predictive of whether or not the dogs are going to certify when they're 1.5 years old? So what they're looking for is dogs that were going to certify in detection and patrol between 18 months and 2 years old. And so I said, so what's the deal, Stuart? Like, what did it show up to be? And he's like, the 4-month-old test, he started to give us information that we could use at 4 months. And this is for Malinois and German Shepherds bred for work, right? But up until 4 months, he said none of it meant anything. He said you could see personality traits. You could see a dog that was more independent or a little more sensitive or a little less sensitive, but all the stuff that matters for a working dog, how motivated they were going to be, how persistent they were going to be in their searching or biting, none of that stuff was evident in the early tests of the puppies. And that's my personal experience. I went through a period where I'm very interested in genetics and Malinois breeding for a long time now, and I asked every established Malinois breeder how they tested their puppies. And so there are some very famous Malinois breeders in Belgium and France that when I had a chance, I talked to them about breeding choices, and I said, so how do you pick your puppies? And the guy goes, like that, right? And he's only half joking. The truth of the matter is, like, if the combination was a good combination and the parents are good working dogs, then you're banking on that coming out. And if you try to invest too much in what you're seeing when they're little, it doesn't mean very much.